this is so good. Okay, so we got a great live for you. Welcome to this day of your life, Mr. John from Denver. Oh, Vancouver, Canada. That's my old stomping grounds. I love that. Dallas, Texas in the house. Okay, so I'm going to let you guys do a quick shameless plug for yourself. No links dropped. No links dropped in the chat. That makes it gross, so don't do that. But if you want to take a moment and go in the chat, and this is connected with how I'm going to help you today, go in the chat, and I would love you to write down what is it that you do for a living, or who do you help. Go in the chat. By the way, this is a great moment because it could be a moment that somebody sees your message in the chat and is like, I actually need that person in my life right now. So I need to think right now, what is it that you do for a living? Who do you help? Who do you make a difference for? Go ahead and put that in the chat. Go ahead and do that now. Go ahead and put that in the chat. I don't see you guys putting this in the chat. What's up? You're going to give up an opportunity? You guys going to give up an opportunity to be able to share yourself? Okay, food service director, you help feed kids better food in schools. Awesome. Retired, Holly's retired nurse. Dog grooming, teaching dog groomers. Maria, we have a client that did something that we teach called a summit, an interview series, and he is a vet. And can I tell you that he will do these interview series and generate $30,000 a month without delivering a service, just selling the interview series. And he helps people do holistic, like dog health. Super cool. Okay, so Florida, temporarily ill spouse. I'm sorry to hear that. Okay, life and loss coaching. Okay, great. So interesting. Okay, so now look in the chat and look and see if there's somebody in here on the chat that you should be connecting with, whether it's a joint venture partnership or whether it's because you need to hire somebody. Look at the chat. This world is abundant, you guys, and so often we are not sharing our offers, or we're not sharing what we do for a living, and what happens is we are the world's best kept secret, and that's what we don't want. Today's live is I'm going to show you how I make offers, how I break down my offers in a way that really gets me out of my own way. So if you're new to me and you've never, been to any of our events, or you haven't really consumed much of our content online, can you put an N? Like an N for new in the chat. Can you put an N for new in the chat? I'm just curious if anybody's kind of new to us, doesn't normally come to any of these lives. Oh, so beautiful. Wow, I love that. Oh, that's so cool. Well, welcome, you guys. Okay, so the reason why I picked the topic, so I'm doing 3 days of revenue challenging, right? Challenging you to generate revenue. If you didn't see yesterday's, somebody go in the chat and tell them what was a big takeaway from yesterday, right? What was kind of an aha? And yesterday, I really worked on how do I set my targets so I get out of the weeds, right? And that money is easy to make. The challenge is we are often focusing on too many things, and I will kind of backdraft before I go into training today, how I break down an offer. I will tell you, this year especially, I'm sure it's been going on for a lot longer than this, but for whatever reason, you know how sometimes you read a book twice and you hear something different the second time? I don't know what it is, but I'm just hearing a lot of people that have multiple different avatars or clients or customers or buyers, like they have multiple different ways of marketing. They've got, it's almost like people either are completely stuck and don't know what to do, or they are completely throwing spaghetti up against the wall and doing a heck of a lot, but none of it's really hitting at the level that they want. Okay, and so I'm going to talk into this a little bit because yesterday, well, I'm going to say yesterday, if you didn't watch yesterday's, you can find us on YouTube, Hardcore Business YouTube, Hardcore Business Facebook group. You can go find us and you could binge watch the 30-minute session yesterday where I talked about how to get out of those weeds so that you really, really can create reliable income, or at least that's the intention on the model that I put together yesterday. Today I'm going to talk about how I make offers that gets me out of my own way. The reason why I put gets me out of my own way is because when I started my business, I was shamefully shy. Like I was so shy that I chose me and what I wanted over serving, because I was so afraid to go out there and to like give to people. I had a heart to give, but speaking in front of you was like the worst thing on the planet. Like I just didn't want to do it. And I heard myself saying a lot, I don't want to be on the face, I don't want to be the face of things. I don't want this, I don't want that. But yet it's really becoming apparent in the world of AI that at some point you are going to need to build a list or a good subscriber base, either online or offline. I recommend if you use social media platforms that you pull. Somebody's like, Shed, I don't believe you were shy. I was very shy. But you're going to have to build some sort of a presence for your own personal brand, right? Whether you're a real estate agent, life insurance, a coach, consultant, author, like AI is coming in like a freight train, and your best salvation of success really is going to come down to the fact of you having a good buyers list or a good subscriber list. If you're building online and you're following somebody who's teaching you how to build online, I teach money online, but there's other people who teach more like fame online. I'm a big fan on get your money right and then go spend money and help and with people who can help you become famous online, even if you don't want to be famous, okay? Because remember, I did not want to be famous myself, right? I did not want to be center of attention. I don't know what my belief system around all of that was, because if I would have shifted my heart and thought about other people, the more people who know you, the better. I'm going to, I promise you I'll get into the offer and how to break down this offer. But I literally, so do you guys know who Tim Tebow is? Tim Tebow? You may or may not know if you're not into football. I'm not into football at all, but I still know who the dude is, right? Like, because he has a certain character that just comes powerfully with just success, right? Like his discipline, his ability to do what he's done in the sport has been incredible. I watched this video today, and I'm not kidding you. I'm going to let you hear it real quick. And don't tune out if you're not into sports, okay? Don't tune out. Be in the moment of a big celebration for him and what happened. But about 10 minutes after I watched this video, I started to cry at such a deep level, and I feel like I just got hit by the spirit. I know this is kind of like out there, but got hit by the spirit in such a way that was so humbling and so beautiful and so powerful that I want to play it for you. But this is the power of doing something great in the world. This is the power of more people knowing who you are versus you saying things like I used to say, which was like, I don't want to be center of attention. I want my company to be hardcore business. I don't want it to be Shanda Sumter. Like, I don't want to be the celebrity. I don't want, which is like, what do you hear constantly? I, versus like, okay, great. You don't want to do that. Yeah, like, I'm pregnant right now. I don't particularly want to go through the birthing process. I don't particularly want to, have all this weight on my belly, right? Like, I don't particularly want to sleep on my left side, so my organs are not on the baby like for 10 months. Like, I don't like, you get it? Like, it's so funny how we will do certain things we don't want to do because the value's big enough or the payoff is big enough or if we don't do it, the trauma or the pain is strong enough to have us run away from it. But yet when it comes to our business, I would predict that there's probably some moments, and you guys tell me if this is real for you, there's probably some pretty big moments where you're saying, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that video. I don't want to do that live, right? So when we walk through a very, very specific way to break open an offer, if you can break open your heart, you will create a better offer. Okay. And almost all, and I don't say this to brag or boast, but almost all my offers sell really well. And I probably should spend more time teaching people how to construct offers. But like what comes out of your mouth, you see an angry person, I see an angry heart, right? Like, so whatever's happening in our heart is coming out our mouth. That's where, like, if we're hurt, frustration, venting, anger, and that just kills our ability to create lift, momentum. And in a world where your safety is basically on who knows you, which is why we teach email lists and text message lists, but there's also social media platforms. You just don't own them, you rent them, right? And so I really want you to build lists inside your business. Okay, so are you guys good if I share this with you real quick? Put yes or no in the chat. I'm gonna do it anyway, but okay, watch this.
said, Timmy, I just got the numbers back from the game. And he said, during the game, 94 million people Googled John 3:16. That national championship game was on January 8th of 2009, exactly 3 years later to the date I wore. I was playing for the Denver Broncos and we were playing the Pittsburgh Steelers in the NFL playoffs. It was on January 8th of 2012, exactly 3 years later. We play this game and we win in overtime. I still think it's the fastest overtime in NFL history. Right before I walk in this big room packed full of media, there's all these curtains out front, and I'm standing in front, and Patrick, our PR guy, said, Timmy, do you realize what happened? Yeah, we just beat the Steelers. We're going to play the Patriots. He's like, yeah, I know what happened, dude. And he goes, no, do you know what happened? I thought I did. Patrick, what happened? He said, Timmy, no, you don't know what happened. Timmy, it's exactly 3
Look at
years
his eyes.
from the night that you wore John 3:16 under your eyes. I'm like, oh, wow, that's awesome. And he said, no, you don't realize it. During the game, your yards per rush were 3.16. Your yards per completion were 31.6. The ratings for the night were 31.6. And the time of possession was 31.6. And during the night, over 90 million people have Googled John 3:16. It's the number one trending thing all over. I don't think I had the reaction that a lot of people think I did, because I went from a high and a celebration and a joy to a conviction and a disappointment. Why? Because when he was telling me that, I knew that God was convicting me, saying, Timmy, you thought tonight was about a game. You thought it was about all of these things. It's never just about a game. I didn't die for a game. And I didn't even want to walk into the media, not that I really wanted to anyways, and then I go in there and I'm answering questions, and a few of them to the side, they're like, oh, that's a big coincidence. Like, don't even want to ask in the microphone, you know? Coincidence? And I said, well, we could believe it's a really big coincidence, or we could believe that we serve a really big God.
Okay, so I share this with you not because of the God aspect, although that's very compelling. I share that with you because like your humility in your heart, like to think 93 million people Googled that scripture by watching a man, and you don't have to be Tim Tebow, right? You could be Patricia, you could be Lori Hendricks, you could be, you know what I mean? Like, you don't have to be Tim Tebow, because the people who know who you are, and based on your character. Like, I coached a woman yesterday and she said, Shanda, I feel like so many people don't see my heart on social media because I'm so tough. And I'm like, but you are tough. Like that is that. And there's going to be people who actually really need that in their life right now. And so, like, you don't have to try and be one thing online and be something behind closed doors. It's actually wherever you are in your walk right now, your character, there are a lot of people connected to that character called you that 100%, if you were to put out more offers, put out more content, if you'd stop thinking about, is it right? Am I ready? Do I want to do this? And you actually just follow the coaching I'm going to give you today, and then realize that the offers are important, but what you say on a daily basis, like if nobody's listening on Instagram, or nobody's listening on YouTube, or nobody's listening in your email list, like, you just don't stop. My first few lives, nobody ever listened to. And the number one thing I hear is people get in their own way, and they say things like, this is kind of pointless in me doing this because nobody's showing up. And it's like, well, what if you just kept showing up? And and by the way, the frequency in which you show up, if you show up once a week, it might take longer. You show up every day, Monday through Friday, or Monday through Sunday, you're going to see pickup, right? You're going to see that people are going to start getting attracted and picking up. But you need to follow the process that I'm going to take you through today, because there's maybe just, which is all about you, maybe just the first step is just having the courage to get out there and put something out there. But you want to think about the offers or the offer that you want to put out there, because your content primes an offer. So now we're getting into the coaching. You guys ready? Your content primes the offer. And so you can see this through news. You can see this through schedules of shots, getting a shot. You can see this with influencers online. You can see this with anybody you follow. You're going to notice that they start talking about something on reoccurring basis, the same topic over and over and over again. And every topic has an ideal customer or client. And maybe you're going to get niche on a different level right now, if I can really land this. Every topic that you talk about primes an offer, and there is an ideal avatar. And as much as I know many of you guys have, thank you, babe. Much as I know many of you guys, actually, let's just do a poll. How many of you guys have 100%, thank you, 100% have more than one avatar? How many of you guys?
In 10 minutes, I'm doing what we talked about yesterday. Okay, sorry. And remember yesterday you came into the room?
Yeah. Oh,
Yes.
but I'll come in there after this and I'll talk to them.
I'll be there.
Okay.
We'll be right in 10 minutes.
Just make sure whoever has the link. That's my husband, you guys. He just decided to just come in and talk to me in the middle of training you. I love that man. Okay, so how many of you guys have multiple different avatars? So I see many of you guys, right? So let me know in the chat. Put an A so I can go back and look at the chats. Put an A if you have multiple different avatars. That means like you could work with multiple different people, men, women, 40, 12, you know what I mean? Like you got lots of different people. Like a naturopath could work with anybody sick, right? And so, or anybody who wanted to get sick. But there's a different pull. There's a different urgency, and urgency is connected with buying. So do you want to make money? Do you want to make money? I do. I think you should. Like, I think we should just take all shame off. That's not from heaven, right? Like, it is okay to make money. It's written over 2,000 times in the scriptures, more than faith and more than prayer. Okay, so that's not the prosperity Bible. It is written. Get your judgment out of the way and realize it is not godly to not have wealth. And so something is blocking. I would say most of the time it's us, right? So every topic has an offer, seeds an offer. And every offer has a very specific avatar. So, you know who does this really well? Chalene Johnson. If you don't know who she is, Chalene Johnson kind of teaches Instagram, but it's not about Instagram, right? It's about a topic. So, like right now, her topic is about really it's about mold, hormones, and it had an entry story that shifted the topic. So what am I telling you here? It pains me when I see people go spend $15,000, $20,000, and they do it all the time because they're just trying to get comfortable with their identity in picking a topic, which is also a message. And it's actually, there's an entry story that fuels passion into every topic. So for Chalene Johnson, she went into her 50s, and her hormones, she was like the turbo kick girl, like, did the TV commercials and all the stuff, and then turned like internet marketer, but has always been the fitness world. You get it? That's been a through line through her whole life, is the fitness world. And she's always been very physically fit. And then all of a sudden her hormones in her 50s, just like the HIIT workouts, all these things are not working. And that's an identity crisis moment, right? So I want you to know something. People buy identity. I put ID for identity. People buy identity. You need to write this down, because if you don't write it down and put it on the freaking wall, what the heck are you doing? Like, you got to put it on the wall. You need to look at your notes, and you need to literally start caring enough to like look at your notes and put some thought into what you're putting out there, and you will see a lift. You will. It's not brain surgery. You can't mess this up unless you don't care about people. And I will tell you, there's many good people watching right now that you're not caring about people at the level that you should, because you're so busy, you're not sitting down and thinking through what you put out. And thinking through could be 5-10 minutes. It could be 3 minutes. Like, it doesn't have to be like what we've been taught in school, that we need to study for a test for months and months and months to pass it. There ain't no test to pass here. You're already born with a heart, and you're already called to a certain topic or industry. You just are. Whether or not you want to claim it or not, you want to stay confused, that none of that is real. It is called I'm choosing safety over claiming an identity. And if you don't claim an identity, you don't have the right to lead people. And I'm going to tell you, all of you have the right to lead people, and this world needs more leaders. Okay? So she has this entry story of hormones. Her workouts are not working. She's putting on weight. And I'm sure that is devastating for her. And so what's wild is she showed kind of this picture. This is where my body started to go. And here's where I am now. And honestly, she's in better shape right now than I most people will ever be in their whole life. But she was starting to get thick. Okay, and so many of us, women and men, say as we get older, our metabolism changes. You're 100% right. And that's what she stands for. But you shift from the endurance training, the fitness training, and you shift to the weightlifting, eating differently, adding creatine, things like that, and then your body shaves the weight. Do you guys hear what I'm saying? Like, you don't have to be overweight over 50 because you're older, your hormones are 60 or 80. That's not true. That is a claiming of identity, and I would be willing to tell you that normal sucks. I've never had somebody tell me, use the word that's normal in a sentence and have ever felt inspired about it. I have never seen it yet. Right? Have you? I've never seen it. Oh, that's normal. It's just part of the road. Like there's never enthusiasm on that. And by the way, that doesn't sell. What sells is what most people judge. Some people call it extreme. Some people call it stringent. Some people call it mean. Some people call it, just too much work. That's what we get paid for. And that excellence, that extra mile identity is real in fathering, mothering, relationships, weight, disease elimination, all of that stuff. Like, I'm in my late 40s. I will have this next baby at 49 years old. I probably did, I don't know how many rounds of IVF because I didn't count it, but I probably have had 3 miscarriages, one chemical pregnancy, and I actually don't know how many rounds of IVF, but I'm pretty sure I need to do a lot of detoxing still to make my life go longer, because I'm pretty sure that impacts my lifeline. Do you know what I mean? With the amount of drugs that I had to take for IVF, the amount of times, right? And the hundreds of thousands of dollars. Now, I don't know if you guys know this, but IVF is now going to be covered by medical. I was like, of course, when I'm done the journey, right? Like, now it's covered by medical after all of that. I'm like, can I rebate? Okay, so I'll go back to my focus. Okay, so my point is I'm not normal. Neither are you, right? Like this belly, that's not normal. You know what's wild? I have 3 girlfriends in my life who have all had children between 48 and 51. So what circles am I hanging out with? I'm hanging out with an abnormal circle, which is why they have abnormal relationships. They have abnormal connections to fitness. They have abnormal connections to results in life. They have an extreme amount of revenue, and they have extreme amounts of bandwidth that they can get through most problems. Okay, and there's a common thread. All my friends are very faith-based. Okay, and so that's a very clear circle. That's an avatar. Okay, so I don't go learn from people personally that don't have some level of faith base. For me, like in my relationship or something like that, that's an avatar. It used to be spiritual, not religious. That's an avatar. I didn't care if someone was religious or spiritual, not religious. There was a time in my life that both those groups, it was more of a warm market. And so when I purchased from someone, I was harder to sell. Does that make sense? Because I was blending in a couple different avatars when I was a seeker. Are you guys picking this up? I'm trying to use real stories to help land this. So do you think they're, okay, so let me go, a great example, right? Do you think Chalene Johnson's gaining weight in her 50s, and then by the way, she rents a place that's filled with mold, and then it's like, talk about just a constant attack on her hormones, right? But yet she's in the best shape of her life now, and she's figured out now all of her topics around detoxing, hormones, all the things in her journey. She's doing reviews on red light, whether it works, it doesn't work, all the stuff, because she's on her journey. So now this is where I want you to pay attention to you right now. What does your journey look like right now? What does your journey look like right now? What is your life telling you about some of the topics you should be bringing out? Okay, just write something down. This is so big, you guys, because stories sell. Like, how many of you guys are into God, like in a faith way? Put F in the chat. In a faith way, put F in the chat, if you don't mind showing me for a sec. Okay, so probably showing you Tim Tebow, although it wasn't about the God story, like every hair on my body was standing up, and I sent that to so many of my friends. 10 minutes later, I have an explosion where I'm crying, and I can't stop crying. Not because something happened, it felt like a Holy Ghost moment. So the avatar that's putting F in the chat right now is like, oh my gosh, I want that. I want that connection with him. I want to be in that space with him. Like, I'm going to watch this video over and over and over again. They're going to start thinking about it, right? Like it felt like a blessing that I didn't want to come out of. Like I was like, oh, this is the ugly cry, where it's not because I'm hurting, but it's because I'm close to you right now. Like I'm feeling your love. I can keep going, right? Because that avatar is with me in the moment. The people who are not in that avatar are like, okay, I get it. Can you pick another story? Okay, so why am I telling you this? Because the topics that you're walking through right now, bringing that authenticity to your messaging will sell offers much higher than any crafted story you'll ever do. I have been taught how to speak. I have been taught how to create offers. I mean, I'm telling you, I have studied with the best. I know how to do transitions all over the place from content to an offer. But I'm telling you, if there's anything I can get through to you, is whatever is touching you in your life needs to be turned to a momentum versus a venting. In other words, if you are complaining about it, if you are angry about it, if you are venting about it, then you still haven't harnessed the power of hard to create a hero story. And by the way, it's not always hard. Sometimes it's a celebration. Sometimes it's a victory. But it needs to shift to a victory. No matter what, it needs to shift to a victory. So every great momentum, you want momentum. This is identity. And you want speed, which is how people buy. Money loves speed. What creates speed is momentum. And when you overcome something, and you are overcoming something today, like it's like the little things, like instead of, like my husband said to me this morning, there's so many stories you guys have. He said to me this morning, he was like on his way out, and I asked him to grab me some bottled water. I like water out of a glass. I asked him to grab me some bottled water. He goes, can I do that in like an hour and a half? I'm going to a meeting. And I said, yes. And he goes, hey, I just want to tell you, I love your heart. I love how you walk through things. I love how, and he's just complimenting me after another, right? And there's a great story in that, because like when he was complimenting me, I'm like, oh, thank you. But it wasn't until I stepped into my office that I was like, oh, like, the work, like so here's the backstory of this. I don't want to take this up about me. Like, I just want to show you how the stories connect. But Ash told me, he said to me about 6 months ago, he said, you have always generated the most amount of financial freedom, which is my role, you guys. Like, my role is to do that for you. Like when I was crying today, when I watched that video afterwards, like that explosion was like, you know, let me reach, like an insane amount of people to show them that they have authority over money, that price tags, that poverty, that stress, like none of that's real. That if they just stop complaining about the money or stop complaining about the people, that there is nothing that they can't get out of, but they got to stop talking about the problem because then you're right about the reason why the problem's here. Does that make sense, you guys? Like if you're right, which you probably are right, like there's a reason why when we get in hard moments, there's a reason why. And it's not like we sit there and go, oh, I just got in this hard moment. Like that doesn't, that, like, if you're honest with yourself, you're like, you got in the hard moment with your health because of choices you made, right? You got in a bad moment in a relationship or you're estranged from your children because you didn't spend any time with them, right? Like, and you know, this is why parents, I'll just use parents, they regret sometimes. They're like, that's why some people stop building businesses to raise children. It's like, you don't have to do that, right? There is ways to do it, but we don't know how. We get stuck. And so what we do is we talk about the problem, and then what happens is we get stuck in the topic and the offers don't sell because in our actual life, we're not having victory because we're talking about the problem all the time. People buy from leaders. That's a mic drop right there. People buy from leaders. There's no way to fake this. You cannot fake this. And so if behind closed doors, you are negative, you are grumpy, you are talking about the problems, or you're happy and you're talking about the reason why things are like this is because of this. It means you're still in the victim story. And so how do you lead people to promised land? How do you lead people to their victory if you are living in the problem? You can't. So if you look at your micro story, so I'll put micro here, there's an entry story or a micro story, whichever works best for you. This is more important than this offer because this sells that offer. And there is a perfect buyer for that offer. And as long as you say that there are so many, you're screwed with love. You will not get traction. You might have some good months, some good weeks, some good days, but you will not get liftoff. If there's anything we're doing in our masterminds right now where we're working with people for 12 months at a time, 2 years at a time, 5 years at a time, is right now this year, between now and the end of the year, we are focusing on cash injection. And we have to do that because it creates urgency where when people know how to cash inject, the thing is if you can cash inject in a week, you can cash inject every week like that, right? If you can cash inject in a day, the truth is your mind needs to realize, how can I do that every day? What would it take for me to do that every day? And we start thinking like that, you start leading your own game. Did you pick that up? So if you've done it once, you could do it every month, every week, or every day. And that is your leadership that kind of goes, well, if I've done it once, the longer you wait to do a success metric again, the more likely you're going to think it was luck. Well, I just went to that party and that person bought from me. Okay, so forget about the party. If you were actually in crowds of people more often, chances are you'd make more money. Right? How long were you at the party? I was at the party for 3 hours. When did you meet that person? The first 30 minutes. Okay, so if that was part of your gig, right? Like, how did you enter the conversation? What happened? Well, there's the beginning of your webinar. Right? You just need to pay attention. But if you're trying to work with multiple different avatars, you're going to have a watered down message, and you're going to be the type of person that it sounds good in the shower and it sounds awful when you speak. You get crickets. To not get crickets, you want specificity. Okay, so now I want you to copy this, okay? So I'll close loop this. The micro story is I generate the most amount of money when my heart's humble and I'm reading the Word of God. Okay, the book of Matthew is all about miracles. When I had a mindset that needed help, when I was explosive in my, I used to be very explosive in my personality. When something went wrong, I went from 0 to 100 as far as anger. And so I read the book of Matthew over and over and over again. It just primed my mind because it's all about miracles, right? And so that generated millions of dollars, sometimes millions of dollars in a week, right? And my husband said to me, the micro story. I'm in the micro story. He said, you know what's weird? He goes, I just was thinking the other day, just randomly, nothing's random, right? And he said, you just really just, it was wild to watch how you have a lot of energy, but it was wild to watch how much energy you had when you were reading. Every morning you did it like nonstop. It was like every time I looked, the morning, the evening, you were like getting into that book, right? And my husband's not into the Bible at that level. He's into it, but not at that level, right? And I'm like, oh, I'm inspired. I get back into it, and I'm not kidding you. You cannot, nobody on this planet, see the conviction? Do you see the conviction? Like, it's strong conviction, right? Like, when you get in your story, and like nobody can tell you that whatever you're talking about is wrong, now you're leading. Not one of you guys can tell me that miracles are not created from the mouth. Not one of you. Not one of you guys can tell me that the 2 bulging discs in my back, that I should be getting surgery, that was going to be my verdict. I have no issues anymore. I did knowledge therapy and prayer, and it lifted. You throw me through an MRI, I'm supposed to get surgery. That was like 7-8 years ago. I run, I cycle, I do it all. No issues, no pain, nothing, right? I'll spare you the story of it. But like, you can't take that micro story away from me because it's real for me and I lived it. Do you see what I'm saying? So this is where I want you to spend some time today. And if you can't think about something, I want you to walk through your day and notice where you're about to lose it. Where are you about to lose your identity? Where are you about to lose, you know what I mean? Like, where are you going to get triggered? And don't get triggered. And that will change everything for you, because if you start to tell that story online and you connect it to an offer, you will sell and you will create a cash injection. If you watch yesterday's training, I talk about pricing, all that stuff. We're gonna go deeper on pricing tomorrow. Okay. So here's how I sell. Number one, I have to start with, it originates with me. You hear, what do I want? But your want needs to be like, sometimes your want is, I mean, by the way, it's always identity. So if you want to just cut to the chase, what do I want? I want X amount of money. Why? What changes in my identity? Okay, so always start with you. You need to get you out of the way. Okay, like when people say, I want to change the world, and they're broke, I'm like, okay, you're lying to me. Because that sounds good, but if you really wanted to change the world, you'd be a workaholic. You would never complain about work. You'd work nonstop. You'd never shut it down. You would be a workaholic, because that is a big mission. So don't give me lip service here. My job is to get you real, get you authentic, get you into an identity that you feel good about, and to generate income before AI is in like a freight train. In fact, if you need coaching and you need a coach right now, who needs a coach right now? Put C in the chat. If you need coaching, you need a coach right now, and you want speed, I would recommend speed right now. Then our team can drop a link. You can talk to us. I'm telling you, speed is critical. AI is coming in like a freight train. Do not be crazy and be like, I can't, it's not right time, I don't have the money. Shit, excuse my language. I'll freaking fund you. Do you know what I mean? Like, get your life together now. You can go to hcbcoach.com. Somebody put that in the chat. H is in heart, C is in core, B is in business, coach.com. hcbcoach.com. If you guys are watching on social media, put that in the chat. Okay, hcbcoach.com. Go talk to us. Tell me the identity you want to live into, and let's build a roadmap for speed so that you cash inject now, not later, now. I can show you in 45 days how to have more avatars, more business, more buyers than most of you guys have had in the last 10 years. 45 days. Will you follow the coaching? If you will, go to hcbcoach.com and we can help you. Okay. So money, identity. Okay. So I want X amount of money. What's going to change in my identity? Write this formula down. I want you to do it today. So when you look at identity, I want you to be thinking about, like, how are people going to look at you? For some of you, that will motivate you, and for others, it won't. How are people going to treat you differently when you hit your financial goal? You need to do this, because the why I want to do it hasn't worked for 99% of you. Okay, well, I want to do this because it didn't get you out of bed. Not long enough to create your financial win. For some of you guys, you've hit many of them, right? Play a bigger game, take yourself up bigger, risk bigger. Okay. So how will people look at you differently? Write this down on identity when you hit that dollar amount, whatever that is for you. Who in your life will be different because you showed up and created that revenue? Who? Like my son, my mother is different. Now I had a dream to post this on Instagram, and I was like, no, this poll probably wouldn't be a good poll because people are kind of mean. But my mom has a bad sciatic, and it really hurts her. And I can eliminate it through diet, and I do. And then she kind of seeps back into it, right? And then she's in pain again. And so she said the other day, it's just something I'm going to have to live with for the rest of my life. Now, I'm not the daughter that jumps on her and makes her wrong for that. But I'm like, oh, she is claiming an identity right now. That's all I can think about. And my job is to nurture her out of that identity, not make her wrong, because that's not going to work. It's just going to make her feel bad, right? And so, but I'm aggressive in it, right? She actually listens to me. She does the cleanses, she does the things, and then she has no pain. So she says to me, we're booking flights. I don't remember when it was, but we're booking flights somewhere. And she was like, I was like, oh, there's not enough first class tickets. And she's like, well, I can't fly economy. My mom's identity has changed since we moved her to America. My mom has never flown economy since I have taken care of her. She's flown first class everywhere, and it's kind of part of her new identity. Do you guys get what I'm saying? So it sounds crazy, but it is it's crazy. It's like, one part of me wants to be like, that's kind of entitled. You know what I mean? Like, but it's not. It is, she has become accustomed now to a different way of living. Okay. My son has flown on our jet many times and private. When we fly commercial, he literally has no understanding of it. He's like, why are we flying commercial? Because he loves to be on the jet. He can go to the bathroom, he can play his games, he can eat, he can chill out. He loves it, right? Like he doesn't have to wait at a wait. We drive up, they take our car, we jump in the plane, we go. If we've got to stop off somewhere to get gas, we stop in Florida, whatever. The dogs get out of the jet, they go to the bathroom on the tarmac, we get back in the jet, they fuel up, we leave again. It's very fast, right? Very different life. So he doesn't understand it. That's an identity thing. My father said to me when I was really young, I said, Dad, the world looks so much better from the inside of a limousine. And he said, honey, never forget that. And I never did. That's an identity anchor. Okay, so I know there's a lot of judgment around finances. I get it. I battle it all the time. All the time. But there is absolutely no shame in making an overflow of money. You're supposed to. And you're supposed to be generous and give it to other people as well as yourself and your family. Okay, so how will your identity change? I just showed you how my mother's life changed. She was a furniture salesperson her whole life. My dad cheated on her when they were married. They're very good friends now. They've forgiven each other. But there's a lot, like my mom has had the worst luck when it comes to love. Okay? And she has led a entire life where she penny pinched. Okay? My son has lived a very different life. But my son doesn't get money from me anymore. He came to me for a $7 upgrade on a gaming today. He said, Mom, I just want to know you're okay if I get it. I'll go generate the money for it. I love that. I love that. He's got that lesson down. It's not, I don't have it, I can't do it. He goes and generates it. Okay, like imagine if we had that all the time. I want that car. I want to donate to that charity. I want to hire this person in my business. Like, I'm going to go generate it today. Do you guys get it? Like, that's identity anchoring. Who will change when you hit this? You got it? Can I move on? Number 2, after you got that, stop thinking about yourself. You're clear. If you want to put that up on the wall, that's another great thing to put up on the wall. This is why you're doing it. Here are the people that are going to change. Here's the things that are going to change. Here's how people are going to treat you when you hit that income amount. People treat you different when you generate income. And anybody who wants to judge that, you go ahead and judge that. But when you hit your next levels of income, who you had to become to do that is admirable. It's not normal. And it should elicit some respect to you. It means you've led yourself, and there's power to that. So you let that go and you're like, okay, now I'm anchored. So now number 2, this is literally how I go into it. If I'm going to launch a product or I'm going to launch a service, I'm like, okay, what's in it for me? Like, why should I do it? Because I tried everything on the planet to do goals, and I was a miserable disappointment to myself for many, many years. Totally broke, so broke it hurt, to getting this, and it changed. I felt bad making money for me. But when I started connecting it to my identity, everything shifted. Okay? So number 2, this is about your buyer or your client, your customer, whatever you want to call it. So now when you look at your customer, your client, you need to ask yourself what shifts in their identity. Okay, people don't buy products and services. I saw Russell Brunson drop something the other day where I can't remember the book he read, but they built ClickFunnels all around this concept. I've taught this identity thing for many, many years. I got tons of challenges up on my YouTube going through this because it's critical. And he was talking about women smoking. And back in the day, they were trying to indoctrinate women smoking. Kind of crazy, right? Now you look around like nobody smokes, right? And so it was a marketing campaign, and they tried everything. They tried to make the cigarettes a different color. This is your guys' branding, right? If I make the branding better, the website better, the product this, it's like, I mean, you can make millions of dollars and have no website, have nothing. That's not the deal. However, when you're in it trying to solve the problem, it tends to take a little bit longer. Guys, I know I'm going a little bit longer than I said I was going to do, but I hope this is helpful. Is it helpful? Yes? Or is it helping you think through this? So don't get caught like the cigarette companies got caught when they're trying to change the color to appeal to women, trying to change like the look and the feel. It's like, that's not identity. Okay? But what they did is they got beautiful, classy women, and they did all these campaigns where these powerful, beautiful women were smoking cigarettes. And what that did was it created an identity shift. You need to create an identity shift. In your client or your buyer. And so some ways that you can do that is you can do it by imaging, but you do it with your micro stories. Every time you have a success in your day, which is, by the way, so good for your life, isn't it? Instead of giving your power away or going into victim or getting angry or triggered or whatever happens in your life, go to bed instead of work out. Every time you have a victory, that is a marketing story. And if you talk about the hell in heaven moment, which is like, I almost went to bed, I've been going to bed for the last 5 years and not going to the gym, not doing that, and the truth is I don't want to take off my clothes in front of my spouse. Our sex life went from this to this, whatever the real story is. Like, don't be afraid to tell the real story. It doesn't need to be long, but that, see how quick and short that was? And I was about to do it again this morning and I didn't. right? And you share what it was like, how you felt. People buy feelings, write that down. What it was like when you made a new choice and what it felt like. So pretend I just did that thing with the gym. I could take that and say, so I could take that and say, well, I have to use a real one because a real one I think is easier. It's like, well, no, I could take the gym. So, not going to the gym, not going to the gym, not working out, putting on weight, all this stuff. And there's a backstory, there's a hell to it, right? And then I would say, but this morning something shifted in me. And I made a decision to choose myself and not to keep living the pattern that was not giving me the life I wanted. And so I stopped hitting snooze on my phone. I got up, I put my shoes on every moment, putting my shoes on, I didn't feel like going, putting my leggings on. So amazing how, like, even getting ready to go to the gym, I'm bailing on myself every second. Any of you guys have that experience ever with anything? Where it's like, you're in the process of going to work. You're in the process of going to meet a friend that you don't feel like going to meet for dinner. You're in the process of going to whatever, Christmas dinner, Thanksgiving dinner, somebody's birthday, a freaking another baby shower, right? And you don't want to go. But yet you get yourself there and you realize that it was more fun than you thought. That you had an important conversation with someone that changed your entire life, or you changed somebody else's life, and that you were supposed to be there. And so this is what people do with finances. They get caught in a habit of doing everything but generating income. Do you see how I transitioned that? I just took that exact storyline and I just transitioned it. And when you guys start practicing this off your real stories, you will convert, you will sell. You will convert, you will sell. Right? The problem is you're trying to pitch things and you suck at pitching, some of you. And if you just started winning in the micro areas of your life, and many of you guys are winning in the micro areas of your life, I know you are, but you just started talking about them and you asked yourself, how does that relate to whatever you should be selling people? Even if you're not ready to sell, most of my friends pre-sell stuff before they ever create it. And then they'll survey the people who bought something, why'd you buy it? And they just tell them what to put in the product, program, or service. Like, that's how free you can be in creating money. But see, the normal way is I need to figure it all out. I know exactly what I should offer, what I should price it at. I'll talk about pricing tomorrow. But what the box with the bow, it's like, I don't know who told you that you had to get the box with the bow before you could launch something. But when you launch the perfect little box out there in the world, half of it's not going to work and you're going to need to do what I'm telling you to do anyway, which is you're going to need to pivot and give people what they want when they actually buy from you. You get it? Yes? Okay. So think about you, your identity, think about the buyer, the identity shift that they're going to have. This is your micro story or your big story. If you're blessed enough to be going through a big story right now, something that's really tough, that's a big story. That big story has legs, just like Chalene Johnson. It can go forever on the hormone thing, right? Your micro story, that's how you do micro influencing. And all you have to do is look at everything's leadership and everything's personal development. So whatever you're facing in your feelings and your personal life, every time you have a micro win and you talk about that and connect it to your business, you will find that you will move people and they will buy. So then now you need to make an opportunity for people to buy. The structure is easy, but I'm just going to end on this really quickly, okay? Offer a link, offer your email, tell them to DM you, and try them all. And say this like 3 to 4 times. One time is not enough. Okay, so here's another example. I told you guys if you wanted speed in your business and you wanted to truly start cash injecting and focus on your business, that's what we're doing in our community right now. If you want a coach, go to hcbcoach.com. That would be number 2. Right? I don't know why people choose to do things on their own or to suffer when the door is right in front of you. You want to generate more, you want more leads, you want more buyers, then go to hcbcoach.com. There's number 3. I'm modeling it for you guys because, first of all, obviously there's people in here that need to hear me. But you also need to hear me with the people who need to hear you. If I wouldn't have waited so long, like I would, like with like pregnancy or any of that type of stuff, like waiting for a better day is the worst thing you can do. I would have had 5 children, you guys, at least 4. If I would have prioritized it or had somebody in my life like you that was relentlessly making offers, relentlessly sharing their vulnerable micro stories and their big stories, and connected it to the areas that I was letting myself down, not being all in, not committing all in, then I wouldn't have spent 4, 5, 6 months at a time taking a break from trying to get pregnant. You see what I mean? That's normal. That's normal behavior. Normal behavior takes a break. People who get free, they don't take breaks. They just don't. That balance is not a thing. They do not take breaks. Now, I don't work 7 days a week. I work 15 days a month. But when I'm not working, I'm studying cryptocurrency. I am studying parenting. I am playing Uno with my son. I am dating my son. I am dating my husband. I'm asking my husband, what needs to shift in me to be a 10 out of 10 wife for you? How can I be a better helper to you? How can I support you more? And then I have to work through triggers of like him wanting more from me. Do you know what I mean? And that's the word. Like, I don't ever take a real break like that. Don't get me wrong. Like, it's not like I'm not well rested, but like, I got people I want to make an impact with. And my son and my husband are 2 of them. My second son coming is another one. Do you guys hear? I find it hard to believe that you don't have that too. And so we got to loosen and let go of this resistance and grab onto the fact that it is a privilege to work. It's a privilege to be you. And if I can help you generate more income and help you really get way ahead, it would be a privilege for me to be able to work with you on that. You can go to hcbcoach.com. You get it? There's the 4th one. Okay, so I want you to see how easy this is. And when you get coached properly and you start closing the gap on this and you don't feel weird about it, I'm telling you, you got an army of people who want to work with you. If you just get out of your own way, stop saying what you want to do, what you don't want to do, and just make yourself available, you're going to generate a good amount of money. That sound good to you guys? Yes? Okay. So here's what I'd love you to do before we hang up. I'd love you to go in the chat. I know we went longer today. We went like half an hour longer. I was just really touched by that video that I watched today. And so I promise you I'll do 30 minutes tomorrow instead of a whole hour. But you can go in the chat and just let me know what are the pricing questions you have about pricing. So just go do that right now. What are the questions you have around pricing, how to price yourself? What are the things that come up for you and get in the way? Can you go ahead and put those questions in the chat right now? That will help me really just make sure that I generate a really concise, strong training for you to revenue generate. Okay, so go in the chat and just write, what are your questions around pricing? No question is a bad question. Just ask me the question so that, and then Kamari on the Zoom, if you can copy that, and then on social media when we hang up, if you can go and copy it on social media on our channels as well, that would be great. Okay, so I'll end on this, you guys. Today is a day you could revenue generate. You don't have to wait till tomorrow. You don't have to wait till you have all your ducks in a row. I go over pricing. Today is a day that if you just walk through what we talked about today and paid attention, trust me, a trigger's coming in a second. There's a moment that's coming that you could go into victim somewhere. Choose the opposite and realize that's your authority over money. Your authority over money is to be able to have authority over your emotions and to really get grounded on who am I, what is my identity, and not somebody else triggered me or somebody else or something else is the cause. If you can master that, which you can, you will generate a great amount of income for you and your family. And I'm excited to hear your success stories, but it starts today. You can go do it today. Go tell a story. Go tell a couple of them. I have a friend right now that is dropping a story every 30 minutes. Right? Every 30 minutes, she's dropping a story right now. Well, why is she doing that? Because she's on a mission. So either you can look at work and fight for your time off, and you can make a little bit. Or you can become mission driven, and you can realize that work is a privilege. And it could take 10 minutes to drop a story and drop an opportunity to talk to you, an opportunity to connect with you, an opportunity for you to influence somebody to make their life better. You can do that. I know you can do it. Do it every time you go to the bathroom today. Probably go to the bathroom 3 times a day. Every time you go to the bathroom, cut a little micro story and see what happens. Send it to your list if you have one. Put it on your social media, even if you got 2 people. Just get in the habit of influencing people and make offers. All right, my friends. So much love to you. Kamara, you can turn us off social media. I'll be live tomorrow, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So good. All right, guys. Goodbye. Kamara, you can turn off social. Bye, guys. Can you unmute the lines so we can say goodbye?
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.